Okay, so in today's video about HBAR, I want to check out this part of the price action and tell you why I believe this is just the beginning and soon we are going to see another magnificent move on the upside in Hedera. And I am also going to talk to you about a couple of very important narratives that I see running around that are potentially going to boost the price just more up and up and up. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones. And here's the situation on HBAR. There are a couple of very important narratives at the moment in the crypto market that are really making a significant impact. Number one, which is the same as also in a stock market, is artificial intelligence. And I think in that area, HBAR is now starting to do something. But if you want to know which coin is actually doing really well in that area, you probably know it if you are a regular viewer. I would argue Internet Computer is actually doing a better job. However, it's very nice to see that HBAR is now catching up and trying to be involved. Number two, which I think Hedera does actually have a better chance of getting its name more out there, is going to be tokenizing real assets. Now in that area, is HBAR going to be number one? I would say potentially not, because AVAX is doing really well, but there aren't really a whole lot of competition in that area, and I fully believe that HBAR can easily take the third, potentially even the second place. And when you see tweets like this, it's time for US based platforms to lead the industry. I think we can all agree that you realize, especially with the current administration, which is definitely pro-crypto, US-based projects, including HBAR, definitely do have a real shot of attracting huge adoptions. So in terms of narrative, in my opinion, it's definitely good to see that HBAR is active in that area, however late. Now, in terms of price action, we are actually looking much better. So what's the deal in HBAR? If you remember, in my previous videos about Hedera, I was saying, look, in the long term, we just do not have anything to be worried about. Why is that? Because there's a very high chance in this bull run back in 2021, we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure up, and after an impulse, odds are that we are going to have a correction structure down in here, and after this correction is over, in this bull run, we can expect a huge move on the upside in HBAR in order to potentially complete the sub waves for a huge wave 3 and then correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. So what's the conclusion in here? I think this wave 3 in Hedera is going to happen in this cycle, followed by that we are going to have in the next bear market this wave 4, which it might not be necessarily a deep move on the downside, and then after it we are going to have in the next bull run another huge move up into wave 5. So the main focus for this cycle should be just on this wave 3 right in here. Now let's just delete this one and zoom in more and see what is happening. If you remember, when we were around these areas in Hedera, I wasn't actually that optimistic. Why is that? Because I was saying, sure, we can have a bullish possibility, and this can be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in form of, I believe it was an expanding leading diagonal, and afterwards we can have a correction down, and followed by that, soon we might get another move on the upside. However, back in here, I'm going to be honest with you guys, that really wasn't my primary case. No, my primary case suggested in HBAR, we are going to take this low, and I was saying, well, okay, if we're going to take this low, we might as well go down and take the lowest low down here, but not go a whole lot lower, and then after it, I'm expecting a very strong bounce back. However, what happened? Definitely not my primary scenario, and I didn't sell any of my HBAR holdings, but I'm going to admit it, I actually didn't get the chance to have some long positions in this area and maximize my profits. So I fully still have the amount of HBAR that I owned back down around these areas, but there was a chance of making more money. However, I'm going to be honest, I completely missed it. So what's the idea in here? I'm going to argue now that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in form of an expanding leading diagonal is going to be now my primary scenario. Now, I forgot to tell you this. If you are a new viewer, which I'm guessing that you are, because these days, every single time that I make new videos, I get a bunch of new viewers and subs, you should know that in my analysis, I use a lot of Elliott waves. And if you want to argue that we're going to have our final bottom around here, maybe this is like a very important support area and we are going to have a sustainable uptrend, then okay, you must be able to find off of the lowest low a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific example is a normal 5 wave. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4 and in any kind of impulsive structure. Wave 3 should not be the smallest wave, and for our subwaves, if you are a regular viewer, you probably know it and you are probably also bored of hearing it, but here we are again. We must have 5 up into wave 1, 3 and 5, and for wave 2 and 4 we can have different scenarios, doesn't really matter. Let's say WXY into wave 4 and an ABC structure into wave 2. Understood? Okay, now let's go on the live chart and count some waves and see what is happening. So I told you earlier in the video that starting from the lowest low all the way down here about 3.5 cents, odds are that in H-bar we are having a huge move up in order to complete the subwaves for a magnificent wave 3. And I can tell you, look, in Hedera there's a very good chance this 5 wave up is actually into a wave 1. This is a correction structure into wave 2. I'm going to show you the subwaves in a bit, and followed by that, at the moment we are on our way to have a huge wave 3, and then we are going to get probably a correction for 4, and followed by that even another move up into wave 5. Now, what's the target going to be for this move on the upside? Well, I cannot tell you for sure, and there is no certainty in any market, but what I can tell you is this: there is a very, very high chance that in Hedera we are at least going to take the highest high in here and set an all-time high somewhere around 60 cents. And I do think that we are going to indeed go quite a bit more higher than that, maybe somewhere around $1 or 2. I think that is definitely possible. Now, let's zoom in more and see what is happening in this area. Okay, so I said I'm going to show you the subwaves in this region, and I do think starting from the highest side, this is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into wave A, followed by that potentially an ABC flat structure into wave B, and this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into our C leg. And what is happening in this region? Let's go on some lower time frame so we can see the candles a bit better. Okay, we can have different possibilities in this area. One scenario suggests that maybe this is going to be from this point to about the highest high of wave 1, and then a correction for wave 2, and we are going to get a big move up into wave 3, 4, 5, and this is just the beginning. Can we have another possibility? Absolutely. The other one suggests this is maybe wave 1. This is a correction structure for wave 2, probably an ABC flat structure, and this is a big move up into wave 3, correction for 4, another huge move on the upside into wave 5. So what's the point that I'm trying to make? I'm gonna say it. There's a very, very high chance that our move up in H-bar in this phase is actually not over yet, and soon we can expect some more magnificent moves on the upside. Having said that, in the short term in this region, we can have different possibilities. First things first, the fact that in this phase, we actually took this high, in my opinion, is a very, very bullish sign. Why is that? Because even according to the most bearish possibility in the short term in this whole area, okay, fair enough, we can have an ABC flat structure. Now, in a flat, we are going to have our wave A like this, correction for wave B, which in this phase, we are going to either take this high right in here or get extremely, extremely close to it, and then another move down into our C leg. And this is the point. For this move, we are going to either take the low of our A leg, but not go a whole lot lower, and then we are going to start the next phase of the bull run, or maybe we're not even going to take this low and we are going to get extremely close to it, and then after it, we can get a very strong bounce back. And for our sub waves, we must have ABC down into A, correction for wave B, maybe ABC, maybe WXY, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into our wave C. Let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. So according to the worst case scenario in the short term in H-bar, remember this is the worst case possibility. I can tell you, okay, from the highest side, odds are that this is ABC down into A to about here, or maybe here, doesn't really matter, correction up into wave B. And if we are going to get a move down, first, it's not actually going to be that strong of a move. And second, we are going to reach to potentially somewhere around these areas about, let's say, 24, 25 cents, and then we can expect a very strong bounce back. So in other words, because we got this move on the upside, I'm going to tell you downsides in HBAR right now are going to be very much limited. And for example, it's very, very unlikely for us to get a huge move down in order to get back to these levels. I think this is probably not going to happen. Now, even in like very short term, we can actually come up with a better and more optimistic possibility, which is a series of 1-2s. And here's the key. As long as in Hedera, we're not taking this low about, let's say, 25.5 cents, we can actually argue that the bottom is in, and this is an impulse. This is probably another one. This is another one. And we are going to have something like this. You see, this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, which is going to be into a larger degree wave 3, and then 4, and then 5. And at that point, odds are that even this red 5 up is going to be into a larger degree wave 3 and 4 and 5, which means, well, basically in Hedera, we are going to go to the moon and back. So you see, at the moment, everything in HBAR just screams bullish, and I just do not believe that we are having anything to be worried about. And I find that extremely, extremely hard to believe that our bull run is over. I think we might be either in the middle or maybe at the beginning of the bull run. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Hedera's price charts. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.